History often hides the most painful truths. Today, we uncover one such hidden story, the story of Black Native Americans whose identity and heritage were nearly erased through a little-known practice in U.S. history, the $5 Indian scheme. When we talk about African American history and Native American history, we often imagine them as two separate struggles. But for centuries, these stories have been deeply connected. Black men, women, and children lived, worked, and even intermarried with native tribes. Some were enslaved by certain tribes, while others found refuge and acceptance within them. Generations grew up with dual identities, both African and native. But in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, everything began to change. The U.S. government created the Dawes Rolls, a system meant to officially record tribal members and distribute land. This was supposed to bring order, but instead it created chaos and injustice. White opportunists who had no native blood paid as little as $5 to be listed as native. They became known as the $5 Indians. Meanwhile, Black Native Americans, people who had lived in tribes for generations, were deliberately excluded. This deception changed everything. Once on the Dawes Rolls, these fake natives gained rights to land, money, and recognition. Real Black natives, however, lost their tribal rights, their land, and in many cases their very identity in official records. It was more than just theft of property, it was theft of heritage. Think about the ripple effect. Land that should have been passed down to native families ended up in the hands of outsiders. Generations of Black natives grew up without recognition, denied both their native roots and their rightful place in history. To this day, many African Americans trace their ancestry back to native tribes, but the official records don't reflect it. Their stories were erased, replaced by those who paid $5 to buy an identity that was never theirs. This hidden chapter forces us to ask, how many Black Native Americans were robbed of their culture? How much land was stolen under this practice? And why isn't this story told more widely? By uncovering this truth, we honor the resilience of those who carried both African and Native heritage in their bloodlines, despite attempts to erase them. This is the hidden history of Black Native Americans. If you want more forgotten stories like this, stories that connect the dots between African American history, Native history, and the struggles of identity, make sure to subscribe and share this video. Together we can keep this history alive.